There are usually four types of work environments: sales, support, process, and developer. It is very important that you choose the environment that suits your personality. Come, let's find out more about this. Hello. In the previous video, we spoke about what do I mean when I say that everyone has a specific personality type. Today, I have TMD with me to talk about what do you mean when you say every role has a specific work environment. So, TMD, can you answer that for me?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very important question and most difficult answer. Many people don't understand this concept that role comes with some work environment. So let me start by understanding the role of a in-shop promoter. You have been to a shop to buy a mobile phone and you see very often he's the guy who is inside a shop and is promoting a product. It's called in-shop promoter. See, his job description is very clear. As soon as you come in, receive you and say hello to you and then ask you what you want, ask you what's your price point, what kind of features are you looking for, then take you to the counter and show the various models. Now this is a very technical job, showing this model is different, this model is different, this is a feature of this model. So he explains the various features and benefits. Then the party will start asking some objection. Will this work, will not work? I heard my friend told me this. So overcome all the objection and finally convince him to buy one of the models which he shows. Then he takes the person to the counter, billing counter, and then tells him, okay, you please pay the party and says bye bye. So this is a job description. Now for this job description, there is a work environment which is what we are going to get. It's not a classic sales work environment. Right?
So, what do you mean when you say that every job has a specific work environment?
Yeah, so I'm going to give another example. I already told you an example of in-shop promoter has a job description. Job description comes with a work environment. The second one I'm going to show you multiple job roles. Now I have two friends. One is called Anand, he's another guy called Keshav. Anand is works in the sales in the FMCG company, fast moving consumer goods company, and the same company, Keshav is the head of finance and accounts. Now can you imagine tomorrow morning, suddenly one day morning, managing director decides, okay, Keshav, you become head of sales. And you, Bharat, please go and do accounting. And they do the job. The one part is of course the knowledge. We might argue with an accountant, he doesn't know, but it's not the knowledge alone. Even if you're a chartered accountant, if you have a sales personality or whatever job you do, you can't switch roles. Because the work environment of finance accounting role is called a process type, and the work environment of a sales job is called a sales type. And these two work environments are very different. A person cannot switch from this to this easily. So that I think is the core question we need to understand that every job, therefore, every role, therefore, comes with a work environment. And we have to understand this before we decide whether we fit it into that role or not.
Actually, this is the question that I was going to ask you about. I read about this in your book, your Right First Job, that the work environments are divided into four types. So, can you explain about that?
Yeah, so we already talked about a sales job and a account job. I'll explain about a process job. Broadly, you analyze all the roles, you can break it into four types. Now, obviously, it's a oversimplification. Really, if I want to analyze, there could be multiple types. Even zodiac signs, we have 12 zodiac signs. But for simplicity, we have to do this because at the entry level of companies, we are not talking about the high end. Managing director job role is very complex. It has all the four environment, maybe multiple environment. But if you're an entry level, what is called frontline executives and managers, then your job work environment is of that role is very narrow. So there are four broad types. So let's start with the sales type. And I gave you the example also of or in-shop promoter. First classic characteristics of a work environment of a salesperson is tired. Every day he has to sell. The second part of the work environment is that particular the role requires a lot of interaction with customers or party who we are selling the idea. So the second part of the thing is a lot of interaction with the third part of the job role is a high amount of rejections. You try to sell something to somebody, people say I don't want to buy it. And you see selling people on the road are trying to sell you something. Rejection is integral part of the same job. So that's also work environment, the ability to absorb rejection. So that's a sales type. The opposite side or variation of that is support role. It's a classic person. After you buy a mobile phone, you go home and then open up the pack and you start using it. You discover there's a problem. You're not able to use a feature. Then you call center. Other side person is typically you must have a problem solving is very fundamental, but you also have to persuade them a little bit. Sometimes they will say, no, this is not what is happening, so you explain to them. The third type is the classic process type. Accountant is a good example. What is unique about an accountant? They're very systematic. The job requires a lot of systematic work. The work environment requires a lot of focusing. You can't be casual about your work. Every accounting entry you pass, there's a lot of detailing you have to do. So it requires focus. And the most important thing is that you have to be compliant. Your focus is on compliance, not break the rules. You have to follow the rules. So this is again a work environment of a typical process work environment. The last one is easy. As a developer or a creative person. What are the creative person? Like you have an ad agency, somebody a copywriter. What do you mean by copywriter? The guy every time when a brief comes, he understands the brief and writes a copy. And that copywriter is a very creative person. You can't put pressure on him one time. I want to get 20 minutes. They need their own time. They think. They're very, very original thinkers. They need alone time. They don't want to be seen with everybody hanging around. So they need private time. So there are very creative personalities are very different. So these are four broadly the four types of personalities. But I think the key point you have to understand is the same sales doesn't mean you only sales department. You could have a sales role even in HR. For example, we talked about the example of a recruiter. What does a recruiter do? Every day he makes calls, convinces people to take a job role. I have an opening in this company. Yeah, I'm selling that idea of a career switch into that particular role. So effectively selling an idea, you're selling a benefit to the person. So the table which we are showing tells you each and every functional area. There are all four types of jobs. That's very important to understand.
So now that I know about the personality type and the specific work environment and how they are connected, what are the action steps that I should take?
I think first step is I'm introducing the concept to you. You need to start reflecting on what is the work environment of your current role. Right? Is it very creative? Is it repetitive? It requires a lot of focus. So first is to absorb this idea of work environment. Right? The second one is that you need to break your current role into one of the four types. What are the primary roles? Sales, support, process, and development. And the third part is to find out what are the other roles in the same company which are the same work environment as your current role. Because this will help you to do job mobility later on. Tomorrow you want to change your job role. If you are very comfortable in your work environment, if you find another work environment similar, you will thrive in that job. So obviously understanding of other roles is important. So these are steps I will do for this exercise today.
Thank you so much, Ian. So in the next video, we'll be talking about finding roles that fit my personality. Thank you for watching.